Hello everyone, I'll be upfront with this one. If you're not really into renewable energies or different alternative methods of creating electricity, I should just switch off now. If you quite enjoyed my rambling videos, stay tuned because this one's going to be a good one. And it stems from my mindset of just the way I work. Is I'm always looking at different ways of doing things, and I'll look at something and think, well, can you do it either better or this, that, and the other? And at the moment, the UK has just announced, or Boris Johnson has just announced that we are going to be essentially, or wanting to be, the Saudi Arabia of wind generation, which is fine. There's multiple ways, as we all know. You've got your wind generation, solar, you've got your hydroelectric. I mean, the list is actually quite a lot. And I'm always thinking, is there something else? Is there something else? We've got all this energy that we've got around us that we can utilise. I mean, you've got the sun up there. I mean, that's just been blazing away for millennia. And I always use a phrase when I'm at work is, if the sun doesn't come up, you've got bigger problems to worry about, whether then you're going to be in lockdown and stuff like that. But anyway, that's my little COVID gripe at the moment. So what stemmed this is there's a couple of videos out there that shows the power of a vacuum, and what I'll do is I'll splice a couple of those in just to show you what they can do. So we've got the crushing of I think it's a 50-gallon drum barrel, so we'll have a quick look at that. Then there's the other one, which is a huge, great big cylinder, and I'm not too sure what it's actually used for. Basically, I would have to guess it's got some form of gas or liquid storage or something like that. Basically, well, have a look at the video. As you can see, they both implode. Now, essentially what's happening there is all the air and everything's being taken out of those, and it's atmospheric pressure that's smashing that down. And I've always found that fascinating. I thought, oh, that's great. We're living on, essentially wherever you are, it's just not all that far above sea level. Other people are going to turn around and say, I live about 2,000 meters up, and this and that. Fine, that's wherever you live. Don't care. Well, I do care actually, because you're a subscriber or a viewer. But ultimately, we've got all this stuff pushing down on us, and it is, if you think of something pushing down, it is a form of energy. Now, but only if we actually take and make a vacuum. Now, the other thing that then struck me is that in a vacuum, you can then get water to boil at a very, very low temperature. And I'm going to say very low, almost room temperature. And this got me thinking, and this is the Gav madness. And if you're at this point of view, this is the part. And I will give a lovely shout out. There's a gentleman called Robert Morris-Smith. If you are at this point and getting to the stage where you're thinking Gav's a bit of a nutter, but I like the way he goes, subscribe to Robert Morris-Smith. He's a great guy. I've been following him for a number of years. His videos are just wonderful in terms of what they come out with. And Robert, if you are watching, this one is going to be right up your street, and hopefully you'll understand what the hell I'm on about. Now, so what we're going to do is I'll go out with the basics. Well, go in with the basics first. Now, what I intend to do, and I've already ordered one part at the moment. So what I intend to do is have a vacuum chamber, something like this, where what we're going to do is all this part here, we're going to just take out all the air from it. What you'll generally have is some form of pipe, and you normally have a gauge. I'm rarely doing this freehand, I haven't practiced this. So can you even see that? Is that coming out? Let's try and make that a little bit better. So you'll have a little bit of a gauge, that'll tell you how much vacuum, and you'll have some form of pump. And what some people do is they utilise old compressors out of refrigerators or fridges, or mini fridges, or air conditioning units, anything like that. So something, or dehumidifier is another one. So essentially what we're doing, we're taking all that air out of there. And now once we take all that air, that then becomes vacuum. Now if you put so we'll put a little vessel in here of a liquid, and we'll call that liquid water, because we all understand what that is. And because you've got the water and they're under a vacuum, we know that it boils. And as we've done, and I'm going to splice a video of it, in fact, my initial experiment. I just did this a bit earlier to try and explain to the wife what the hell I'm on about, and I got the very vague expression of no. With that video, as you now see, is you can see the water boiling, and I've got motion up and down. So now, to me, is if I've got motion up and down, I put a secondary, let's call it a vessel. I don't know. Obviously, I've got 3D printers and laser engraving. I'll make something. And what I want to do is then have this vessel, because it's going up and down, and this water's violently boiling away. Not in the same term as the 100 degrees that water would normally boil at sea level, but it would actually be going up and down. What I want to then do is put some form of magnet and then a coil, and then essentially having some wires off, however we want to do it, and then just I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to attach it to something. Now, whether that's going to be stick the voltmeter in there, or have an LED in there, or have a capacitor, I just don't know. But the principle behind it is with this water boiling away, obviously it'll be absorbing its energy from somewhere, and I don't really know the science. Another guy, Robert Morris Smith, probably might come across, grab my video and think, oh, okay, I'll have a bash at explaining what the hell Gavin's on about. Basically, there'll be energy that is being sucked into this to cause the water to boil. Now, if you've got this, say, on a I don't know, a countertop or something like that, what I'm wanting to prove is that if we put a vacuum in here, that vacuum will stay permanent, a permanent vacuum, as long as you've got no leaks. I mean, we're then going to get into some real engineering and stuff. But what I want to do is get to the point where that is fully in a vacuum, and that is creating electricity. Now, if I do that, that gives us a couple of options, because then we could have, what's to say that we can't have multiple vessels, or, delve into the elements of trying to improve that design to actually create more electricity out of the same vacuum. That's where I'd like to be. And again, this is total mad scientist. I mean, this is literally a bloke in a shed kind of stuff. But if you like that and want to follow this, this is going to be another one of the many projects kind of that I'm just tinkering around with. I've got another one over here at the moment, which is a DIY flow bench for the cylinder head for my kit car. That's the kind of stuff we're getting into. But if you want to try and follow this one, I'm going to make the title quite descriptive. Obviously, this is going to be part 1. And there'll be part 2 when I get all the parts together and so on. And then, by all means, let's discuss what this is going to turn out to be. I don't know what it's going to turn out to be, if I'm honest. It's absolutely nuts. But yeah, let's see what happens. Quite interested. Parts come in. What day are we today? We're Tuesday today. I should get my first part, which is the vacuum pump, on Thursday. I've got some bits floating around in here. I might be able to build that. I need to sort out some magnets. I've got the copper wire to make the coil. I think we could do that. Don't know how we're going to make it. In fact, we might even use a pen. But let's see how it goes. Stay tuned. It is absolute total madness. Everyone, please stay safe. And if you like this kind of stuff, please share and subscribe. Put comments in there. The crazier the better. Anyway, see you later.